What's really good, my people? Welcome in to No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Little, Big Nick the Quick, with me from Florida, as
Yes, sir.
always. Man, we got a lot to talk about. It's early morning. I put too much cream in my coffee. I think I smoked the whole glass, but we're gonna talk
You,
about
you,
that in a
you,
second.
you just gotta come over to the dark side, man. This cream,
Dude, I know, man.
this cream and sugar mission is dead. It's the bird. Stay black, man.
So we're gonna talk. We got a bunch of NFL stuff to talk about. We got to talk about the AB situation because I think a lot more information is coming out on that, and that's changing the angle of him just walking off the field, right? So we're gonna talk about AB, Burrow, and the Bengals. Me and Nick have been talking about Joe Burrow for quite a while now, and I mean, look, that's nothing new. This dude is a monster, and we're gonna get into what he's done the last couple of weeks. They clinched the division. Jackpot Joe, all types of stuff is going on. He's now like top 3 or 4 in the MVP race. We're going to talk about Burrow and the Bengals. Ben Roethlisberger, last game at Heinz Field last night. What's his legacy? Just like, what is it? Like, I'm going to figure it out as the show goes on because I don't really know exactly what he. I guess I know what he means to me, in my opinion of Ben Roethlisberger, but overall in the league, what's that legacy going to look like? We'll talk about that.
I'm excited to talk about it. I'm surprised you put that on there because I feel like you might have a different view on it.
Yeah. Going to the NBA, a couple point guards went crazy last night. John Morant, I mean, that's becoming a nightly endeavor. John Morant, Trey goes for 56 last night. Ant Simons goes for 42. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about just some NBA point guards. I want to get Nick's opinion on a couple things as well. Bulls lose Javante for a couple weeks. We're starting to lose people.
The ball club.
We're starting to not be at full strength every week. So that is something that I want to talk about with you as well, and the Derozan MVP talk. But first, Big Nick the Quick, Happy New Year and all that.
Happy New Year, 2022, baby. We're
here. Yeah, 2022. I think you're cutting out a little bit. Hold on.
Am I cutting out?
Yeah. Give me like a full sentence. I guess we're live right now.
What's going on? Hello. What's going on?
Oh yeah, don't worry about it. We'll just rock. Don't trip. But yeah, Happy New Year and all that. What's going on?
Yeah, what's been some out here in Florida, chilling. You know, I had to get away from this snowstorm coming. I know you love to talk about the weather.
Yeah, I hate talking. For those who don't know, I hate talking about the weather. Every time the weather comes up, it pisses me off. Like, I know what the weather is. I'm outside too. You jerk off. So like, we don't need to talk about it. But
let's get rough out there though.
It is really rough out here right now, and it's funny because you said that because I literally just left Florida. I got back yesterday, or on Sunday, late Sunday night, or I guess Monday morning. But I was just out there, and it was really, really nice. I can't lie.
Yeah.
I was at the pool. I was at the beach. So
there's a whole lot of the country that doesn't have to deal with no types of climate at all.
Yeah, they're chilling. I like the season change and all that, but this is that stretch in Chicago where it's like, why do I live here? Then what is the point of this?
Why am I here?
Yeah. Exactly. So look, you see my coffee, G?
What is that, dude? What is it, a milk?
Dude, it should milky, dog. I'm sick.
Yeah, that's terrible. Hey, if y'all aren't looking at the screen, Sean's coffee right now is tragic. What is that? Is that
dog,
white?
I'm sick, bro. This shit look like a white Russian, dog.
It looks like Pedialyte.
My coffee look like a white Russian. I'm hot.
That looks like Bailey's. Let's get some coffee with your cream.
Yeah, bro, for real. I'm sick. It was early, man. I had a little extra tip. I was sick, dog. I should be measuring my shit.
I drink straight black, man. I told you need to come over to the dark side, man.
Yeah,
that creamer shit is dead.
All right, let's get into the NFL, man. Let's talk AB first.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was actually watching that game when it happened. I don't even know. Well, this is the thing. I'm still on my Brady MVP ticket, right? So I try to sneak in over there and watch Brady as much as I can. And I was watching that because they were down, and I wanted to see, what was going on, if they were going to come back, whatever. And I was watching for like 15 minutes, and I see this AB situation, and I'm immediately like, no.
Also, real quick before we go there, terrible loss for the Jets.
I mean, that's a
it's a brutal loss.
The
game was in hand.
Yeah, that's a brutal. Yeah, like 90+ yards, no timeouts.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah, that was a classic Brady drive he put together. But I saw it happening, and of course, my initial instinct was AB's having like an AB episode, and what the fuck is going on, right? He takes his shirt off, throws his pads, walks off, gets a ride in the car from some guy that's a driver, I guess, for NFL guys, but he's recording him in the car, all types of clout chasing activities. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what bothered me about that whole situation. I don't care if he gives you a ride, but why is he putting you on the internet in the back of the car? Like, you know what, you thought I was gonna leave my boy AB in the street, man. We here. Like,
he was just looking for me. He was checking for me.
Yeah, dog. Cut it out, man. Like, please cut it out. But it comes out that AB essentially told Arians that he was too hurt to play. That's a whole. I'm not even going to speak on the injury portion just because I don't know how true that is, or if AB whatever.
He was questionable all week, and then I think they cleared him on Sunday because he had practice, and then he obviously started playing the game, made a couple plays, and then
and then it was like, I can't go back out, right?
Yeah,
and it seems like Arian thought that he was just saying that or bullshitting whatever, and Arian said, "Yo, listen, if you're not going to go back in and you're not going to play, then you're not a Buck anymore." And he said, "Yeah, is that right? All right, don't even worry about it. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here now." What were your thoughts on that whole situation? And because from what you just said, it seems like Arians didn't believe he was hurt all week. That's kind of what I take from that. He thought AB was just skipping practice, whatever, and that kind of carried over into the game.
What do you think about? This is his first week back from suspension, right?
Second week. This was his second
so he
week.
Did play last week. Okay.
Yeah. He went crazy the week before. And then we had the whole other element with the contract accelerators if he hits a certain point. So
it's crazy. It cost himself $1 million.
Yeah, let me know what you think. How do you feel about it? And it's come out that the Bucks have not officially released him.
Yeah.
So, let me know what you think. He was at the Nets game sitting courtside last night. Like,
well, first off, I knew there was zero shot he was leaving New York. He goes back to Florida. It's where the girl and the kids are. Life is quiet. If you got no work, man, why not stay in New York a few extra couple of days? Kick it. He probably got a spot. He probably got the room at the Ritz. You know what I mean? The Plaza. So I kicking it for a few days. Got some East Coast studies on deck. So he's doing his thing. Man, that whole situation was crazy. All the information that's come out aside, just to see a dude literally pull off his shoulder pads, pull off his Under Armour tank top, going into the stands, and walk out of the game like he's Dennis Rodman is something I have never seen in an NFL uniform. I mean, my man's is doing jumping jacks. He's giving the peace sign. He's
that was very Dennis Rodman-esque, for sure.
He's running across the field in the middle of the game, and then finally makes exit. Drops a single that night. Calls himself the Gremlin.
Super Gremlin.
So like that whole aspect of it, regardless what happened, that whole aspect. Now I do know I saw that Pat McAfee had said something yesterday. Like, I guess since AB has come back from suspension, he felt that the team didn't support him during the suspension. That the relationship has pretty much been dust since then. Since the couple weeks that he's been back. He felt they didn't have his back, and I think obviously he's kind of a temperamental guy, so apparently it's just kind of been weird.
Extremely,
yeah, exactly. So apparently it's been crazy.
Extremely temperamental. That's a perfect word.
Suspension.
Yeah.
Which let's keep it real. The suspension that he fully deserved. A man was out here trying to fake back scars, regardless of whether or not he got the backs afterwards. Pay your chef, and this isn't an issue. This all stems from him not paying his chef. That's true, right?
I was just gonna bring that up because,
that's also suspended. If he's not suspended, he doesn't get mad at them. If he doesn't get mad at them, he doesn't storm off the field on something.
No, right, but that's also back to the temperamental behavior. Look, I don't know shit about if he owes the chef $10K or not, right? But obviously your chef is upset and he feels like you owe him money. Figure out the situation. Don't don't freeze him out, find a new chef, and never speak to him again. Like, why don't you be a man, step up, and then figure out like what you need to do with the chef so everything is at least forget about if it's kosher between you two. That the situation is handled and taken care of though, and you don't have to. You didn't do my man dirty or wrong, whatever you say, whatever happened. But that's the other thing. It's like I don't need to know too much more about the situation with the chef to know that there was an issue that he didn't settle and didn't close up and finish up and have any closure with.
Yeah.
And then that's like that seems to be a lot like very typical AB behavior. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. So I mean, regardless of what the situation was, doing that is wild, right? Like, and they're saying now that like he refused to enter the game because he was hurt, and obviously Arians cut him right there on the sideline. So the whole situation is just it's crazy to kind of see it in this way. On the flip side, maybe he got his ring and he was like, "Fuck it." Second year is a bonus. We'll see how long I want to stick around for.
Yeah, no, that could be like he could have. Well, that report makes a lot of sense because if he didn't, he's a guy that he feels like you're not supporting him, he's not rocking with you. It's the world against AB, right? And for a second, it was AB the Bucks versus the world. No one else wanted to take him in. This was his squad. So then that's the other thing.
Bruce was rocking with him.
Exactly. Yeah. Like Tom's rocking with me. They got my back. So then when he gets that feeling where they don't have his back anymore, that's when you start to get real wild AB. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people are talking about mental health.
It's the same thing that happened in Pittsburgh, right? He felt that the organization didn't have his back anymore, so he started wilding out. Hey, look, I retweeted it the other day, but Mike Tomlin, we can't understate how great a job Mike Tomlin did having him and Le'Veon in the building for that amount of time and winning all those ball games.
Well, those are the type of guys that can control those type of guys.
Yeah.
And control in the sense where they just can still get the most out of them while, I mean, AB was still going live in the locker room and shit.
Yeah. That was
so, wild. Like, he was still getting his AB shit off, but it wasn't as it didn't come out as much. It wasn't like a talking point. I'm sure there was a lot of stuff that he was.
I'm sure it was going on behind the scenes like crazy.
No question, man. So for you, because we could talk about this for 40 minutes, but for you, it's over. No matter, even Arians did cut him on the sideline and AB walked off like that, it's still dead to you.
Yeah, it's over with. I don't see how any team could bring him back in. I think number one, he's getting older. So I mean, he's not AB from 4 or 5 years ago. That's first and foremost, right? We know talent. Talent is always going to get you back. But I think at this point, like he's quit now on 3 franchises. You know what I mean? 3 situations that okay, maybe the Raiders situation wasn't the best, but this Pittsburgh situation wasn't bad for him. He was getting 15 targets a game. You know what I mean? I mean, those numbers that he was putting up in Pittsburgh were ridiculous. It's not like Ben was ignoring him. He goes to Raiders, gets all that money. That situation is crazy. Then he goes to what it has to, like you just described it. The perfect spot for him was Tampa Bay, right? You're playing with Tom Brady. You're competing for Super Bowls. You have a good role on the team. And this is right at a time where the team really needs you with all the injuries. And you pull this. I think the teams are going to look and be like, it's not worth it. You're almost waiting. You're waiting for something to happen. If he can do it on a team that has legitimate Super Bowl aspirations and is looking to repeat, who's to say he obviously he's going to go do it on any other squad, right? Like you're not going to put him in a better situation than what he was in Tampa Bay. So I think that if I'm another GM, I'm like, yeah, I don't want any part of this. For what?
There's no question that I wasn't even thinking about another squad. Like that shit is not happening.
You mean like his legacy in general?
No, I was just thinking about him coming back and playing for the Bucks.
No, absolutely. God, no. What? Quit on the sidelines. Bruce Arians can't look his players in the face after that.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing. Maybe they just
and he
disrespected the paperwork.
Arians. If you're Arians and you probably you stuck your neck out for this guy a few times and he does this, there's also that whole thing where it's like I don't even want to be around this guy. I'm done.
But I also think Arians has some fault if he cuts him on the sideline. On that, first of all, you shouldn't be doing that in the first place. Like, what do you mean I'm cut? What are you talking about?
Well, in the heat of the moment, should have said.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, and I guess shit is done, right?
Yeah. I mean,
So-
either way, here's the thing. Either way, AB has lost any benefit of the doubt just based on how it all went down. You know what I mean? If he had just walked off and then given an interview afterwards, like, yeah, I left because this is what happened. He told me to leave because I couldn't go back on the game injured, and he didn't make a huge scene about it, it wouldn't be an issue. But the damage is done now. There's no way you absolutely can't bring him back to the Bucks. He called himself a super gremlin. It's in the middle of a game.
Did you listen to the track? I didn't even listen to
No,
the
I haven't
track.
even heard it too
I need
yet.
to listen to
But
the track.
I have not listened
Shit,
yet.
probably
I
fire, low
will.
key.
Probably a whole lot of money.
Oh, a lot of
So
money. Got a
yeah, I mean, look,
whole lot
man.
of money.
I think the numbers will speak for themselves as far as how he's remembered on the field. But I think that I think you had tweeted it the other day. All this goofy shit off the field absolutely is gonna tarnish his legacy. I think he's a Hall of Famer, no doubt about it.
Oh,
But
what? Yeah.
yeah, surefire Hall of Famer. But the goofy shit is definitely gonna. I mean, look at it, man. Look at people like T.O. T.O. is just now shaking off the goofy shit. You still think about him as a goof. You know what I mean? Like,
I never thought T.O. as a goof.
he's a
But
goof.
yes, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest tragedy in the whole thing, man. Is people are gonna remember AB as a clown, and he was legit had maybe like if you go look at, I know Jerry Rice played forever
Yeah.
and the numbers that he put up, but if you want to look at a 6 year window, 7 year window, for like I don't know the exact years, but if you go look at like a 5 to 7 year window AB put up in Pittsburgh, and it's arguably the best stretch of wide receiver numbers you've ever seen in a row.
Yeah.
So it is gonna he's the best, he's one of the best of all time. He should be a first ballot Hall of Famer, surefire. And I don't know if the first ballot thing ever happens because that's not how they work. And I think especially for like a younger generation, they're gonna see AB as a clown.
Yeah.
They're not gonna see him as one of the best wide receivers of all time, and that's the real tragedy in my eyes. So, and the fucked part is, he had a real opportunity to clean that.
Yeah. Well, he already got one ring. Yeah.
Goes and gets a Super Bowl, comes back, doesn't do anything, doesn't say anything, and if he comes back this year and does the same thing, and then the rest of his career plays it out, that cleans it up in a massive way. And then he threw it all away with the fake vax card, and then walking off the field and taking his jersey off. So
Yep.
it is a shame. All right, let's move to Burrow and the Bengals, because
listen.
the last
tell you every week.
The last 2 games for Burrow, he's almost thrown for 1,000 yards. It's in the 9s, and I think it's like 915. Pull it up for me. But it's just creeping into 900 yards. He has, I think, 9 touchdowns, 8 or 9 touchdowns, and they win the division. He literally goes from not even in the MVP conversation to I think he's number 3 now at plus 1,000. Jackpot Joe, and everybody loves him. This is a very interesting dynamic where he's young, he's a killer, has personality, and everybody loves the personality. You know what I'm saying? This is not one of those spots where he's a killer and some people like him and some people don't. This dude is a killer. He's young. He's in a franchise that has been waiting for a guy like this to show up. And now he has an opportunity to just take the league over.
This is why teams are in constant search of franchise quarterbacks. That's it. This franchise was dead in the water, right? They're dead in the water the year before they got him, obviously, because they ended up with the number 1 pick in the draft. This rookie year, he gets hurt. After he gets hurt, team is dead in the water. Right? Can't win a ball game, can't do anything right, afterthoughts. So much so they even come into this year. And I remember when we talked about the AFC North, I think I had the Bengals 3rd or 4th. I did not have. I thought it was the Ravens, and then the Browns. Maybe I thought the Browns were going to possibly.
Yeah, I believed in the Browns.
Steelers might be the 3rd best team, and the Bengals, they can't protect Joe Burrow. He's going to get hurt again. They don't have a lot of talent. They drafted other things like that. Look, lo and behold, Joe Burrow shows up this year. And I tell you every week when we watch the games with Joe Burrow, the most, perhaps second to almost to Aaron Rodgers, the best ball placement I've ever seen in a quarterback. Joe Burrow's receivers, running backs, tight ends, whoever he's throwing the ball to, do not have to adjust to make a catch. Like, go back. I wish we had the film right now. Go back, watch the film of Joe Burrow. When he throws the ball, his receivers just put their hands right here, and the ball is right there. His ball placement is absolutely elite. It's not like he has a monster arm or is like the most physically gifted quarterback in the world. It's just supreme accuracy, elite ball placement, command. He's a winner, obviously. Like you said, teammates love him. I don't know about the rest of that squad. Obviously, Jamar Chase is a monster. And who's the other guy? Boyd. They got a bunch of receivers. Yeah,
talent over there.
Bunch of receivers that are ridiculous. So yeah, I mean, it's fun. But this is 100% what a franchise quarterback can do for you. He completely changes your entire organization around in a matter of a year once he starts playing well. So yeah, I mean, there's really nothing else to say. This team just won the division, came out of nowhere. I don't think that they're gonna threaten anybody for the Super Bowl. They still got some stuff that they need to clean up. He's still a young quarterback, but you couldn't. If you're a Bengals fan, you're looking at the next 15 years and you feel amazing. Like, regardless of what happens this year, you're like, hey, we're in this every single year. Surround this guy with talent, make the right moves. They still need to fix that offensive line because you can still get to him a little bit, but you got the biggest piece on the board taken care of.
Well, especially because you look at the division and you thought Cleveland was going to be good. They don't have a quarterback. Now, Ben Roethlisberger's retiring. We're going to get to him in a second. And then Lamar Jackson's injured, and he needs to get a contract.
Yeah.
And
the whole team is injured. Yeah, it's just like that. And you're in position to take the division.
Just like that. You're the head honcho in the division right now and going into next year. Like, simple as that. Like, just like that. I think the ball placement thing is very underrated.
It's ridiculously underrated. No one talks about
it. Because, listen, forget about accuracy. There's like accuracy, and then there's ball placement. Because the ball placement is a step above the accuracy tick, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you're completing passes at a certain percentage. Or when I'm watching you, you're hitting guys. You know, do you know when a wide receiver like Jamar Chase can go for 260 yards?
When he don't have to think about catching the ball.
When he catches the ball and it's not breaking stride, and he's running full speed, and he's not contorting his body and stopping and catching the ball and falling down. You can go for 260 when you're running over the middle. Don't break stride. Can put your hands out, catch it, and you're still running full speed, and you're picking up 40, 50 yards. Listen, every week he has a 70-yard touchdown pass, and that's purely ball placement type stuff.
And look, man, we all love the old OBJ catches where he's launching out and doing the one hands. And guess what? That's not how it's supposed to be. That is making a play on a badly thrown ball.
Right.
Like you said, with Jamar Chase, he's catching it in stride. So a guy that's that physically talented as Chase, he catches the ball in stride. He's still running. He's faster than everybody. He's bigger than everybody. He just needs to think about making a play after he catches it because the ball is going to be there every time. Right? Like, so you think like the accuracy versus the ball placement. Like, accuracy is getting it there. Ball placement is putting it there. You know what I mean? And Joe Burrow puts the ball there. Like, it's uncanny. The ball just drops into the hands. You can go back to the LSU film. It was the same thing. Yeah. Go back to the 7 touchdowns against Oklahoma in the first half. It was the same thing. He gets the ball exactly where it needs to be, to where his guy's the only guy who can make a play on it, and that his guy doesn't have to adjust. And if you ask his wide receivers, he's going to make a lot of average and slightly above average wide receivers make a lot of money because they're going to look like superstars playing with him. So again, like, these guys aren't out here making acrobatic catches in which they fall to the ground afterwards. They're catching in stride and getting receptions or yards after the catch. So, I mean, it's elite. It's truly elite level stuff, man.
No question. Like, it's he's coming off the ACL. I thought he would have a little trouble coming off the ACL because, like you said, they still have a hard time, protecting him and that type of thing. But mentally, listen, man, I'm telling you right now, I saw a different guy that I haven't seen in a long time when he was playing the Bears and he threw 3 interceptions on 3 straight passes?
Yeah.
And they cut to him on the sideline.
No problem.
And it looked like he
was
had
up
just
by
thrown
20.
3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, that's when we knew he was good, and we were talking about his year against Oklahoma, and that year some of the best quarterback play in the first half we've ever seen. It's probably the best quarterback season in college football history. And I'm a big Vince Young guy, and I get all that. But if you go back and look at what Burrow did in that LSU year when they won the title, it's beyond
LSU Burrow.
impressive.
The second is Auburn Cam for me.
Yeah, Auburn Cam was a big
Auburn
time.
Cam was kind of different. It didn't really make sense.
Yeah. Cam Newton Auburn was
both head coaches got fired after those guys leave. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, no, facts.
Chisholm got fired and Orgeron got fired. So what does that tell you about how good those guys were? So yeah. Changes your entire everything.
But yeah, mentally he is very locked. All the players love him. He's a different dude right now. Dude, let me ask you this. And we already know what it's like to be in the NFL. It's not about what you did early in the year. It's like that shit doesn't even matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
What have you done the last 4 or 5 weeks? How do you look right now, right? And the Bengals have won 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the Broncos, they beat the Ravens, and then they beat the Chiefs to win the division at home. Why not the Bengals? You don't think they can make some noise? You don't think they can make a real run in the AFC?
I guess, you know what, man? I guess maybe I'm just like conditioned to be like, no, like, right? Like, just nice story. They won the playoffs.
Nice story, yeah.
But I guess with the way that this year is going and there's no real clear-cut favorite anywhere other than the Packers and the NFC, in my opinion, who knows? Who knows what could happen, right? I think that he still likes to give the ball away a little bit too much, but he's a young quarterback, so who knows? Those type of things tend to show up in the playoffs. So I think if he keeps playing like that, if your quarterback is playing this hot, look, man, Eli Manning showed you, right? All it takes is a hot streak.
Yeah. That's
it. All it takes is a hot streak at the right time. You get hot at the right time. I know we're going to talk about Ben Roethlisberger, another guy who's benefited from getting hot at the right time. Anything can happen. When your quarterback is locked in and they're playing at an elite level and they carry that into the playoffs, we've seen it with Joe Flacco. I mean, name lesser quarterbacks that we've seen do this, right? And carried all the way to Super Bowl victory. So when you're talking about a guy with Burrow who clearly isn't a lesser quarterback, has the talent, but is supremely locked in, anything can happen. That's why the quarterback position that we talk about, everybody knows, it's no secret. That's why the quarterback position is so important. Yeah. That is why you do everything that you can to get a quarterback into the building.
Shout out Dante in the comments. Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah. No, Nick, you're right. Yeah. Shout out Dante in the comments. He said crazy because Burrow was average the year before he blew up in college. And I literally texted you that in the group. Yeah. I'm like, this guy Burrow is now in the MVP conversation. And I literally had no idea who this guy was 3 years ago. And I had never heard of him. And I know I actually had heard of him. I knew he was a big time recruit out of Ohio, went to Ohio State, then transferred. And hey, you want to know another thing? This is his mentality. All right, I'm not going to play here at Ohio State in the Big Ten. I'm not going to go out to the Pac-12. So I'm not going to go out to the soft-ass Big
I'm
Big
not playing
12.
At Ohio State. I'm going to go to LSU.
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and go down to the SEC, and then I'm just going to light it up down there. Like I'm telling you, like even small things like that people don't really talk about. Or no, like he could have transferred to Oregon.
Yeah.
He could have transferred to wherever. You know what I'm saying? But like he picks LSU. He's like, let me go play Alabama. Let me go play some real dudes and get. And I mean, obviously, I don't know Burrow and can't jump into his head. But he's the type of guy that I would think would say, let me go get league ready. Let's see if I can really play.
Yeah, can I actually play? Yeah.
I think I could play. Like, let's go down to the SEC with some dogs, and then I'm gonna try to play down there. Like, you don't really hear about big time recruits going from Ohio State and then having to transfer because apparently they couldn't win the job or didn't get chosen to win the job. Going to SEC school to try to make noise. Like it's usually the opposite. So yeah, man, this guy's different. He's super locked. Shout out Dante for the comment, man.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I know we're already running out of time, but let's jump to Big Ben Roethlisberger. We can keep this one short, bro. What? When you think of Big Ben Roethlisberger, he's going to retire at the end of the year, allegedly.
Yep.
And
So is that what he's saying? Because he keeps saying last game at Heinz Field as if there's somewhere like he's not planning on going to play somewhere else, is he? Like,
no, they play next week because they have one more game left.
No, but I mean, like, it's not like they don't say like last game is like, yeah, like last game doesn't steal it. Like they make it.
Oh,
they made it. It's been like kind of like vague. Like, yeah, I know
yeah.
he's done in Pittsburgh. Well, it's like, yeah, I think he's done everywhere.
I think they're just saying that the last game in Pittsburgh, like in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Okay. But yeah, man, when I say Big Ben Roethlisberger, and I think I know where we both stand on him in general, but what do you think the legacy is going to be? What do you think it should be for Big Ben?
Yeah, depending on what you would consider his era, for me, Ben Roethlisberger is probably the 5th or 6th best quarterback of his era. Won 2 Super Bowls, won a whole bunch of games, threw a whole bunch of touchdowns.
And just so people have a window of, I want to say he came in the league in like 2004.
Yeah, so if you look at that, yeah, for me that era would be Brady, obviously, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and beginning Aaron Rodgers, right? So depending on where you put that first half of Rodgers' career, I would say he's probably 5th to those guys. I can't think as far as total career and his whole era. I mean, Roethlisberger, say what you want to. I know there's been some ugly stuff on the field and off the field, but say what you want to. Roethlisberger as a starting quarterback is 164-81. He's won 2/3 of the games that he played in. 66% of the games that he's played in came out victories. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings. He's always had his team in contention. A lot of that is obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers organization, but he's been the face of that. He's a guy who's been healthy for most of his career, despite never being in shape. He's a guy who, kind of like James Harden, uses the first quarter of the season to kind of get in shape. He's never shown up in elite physical condition, but he's always been a threat, right? He's always been a guy that can cause you a lot of problems. So, yeah, I mean, I think that Roethlisberger is probably the 5th or 6th best quarterback of his generation. Absolute Hall of Famer, and a great career.
Let me give you some of these records that Roethlisberger holds. Most career 500-yard passing games. How many do you think he has?
Oh, he has so many. He's got yardage numbers on Roethlisberger are crazy. Probably 12.
He only has 4. He only has 4, but yeah, 500 that's a lot of yards.
Yeah.
He has 4 500 yards passing games. That's an NFL record. Most completions in a regular postseason games, 47. Most passing yards in a relief appearance. I don't know what that means. I guess he came in 379. But
for Tommy Maddox.
Yeah, he came in with Charlie Batch.
Tommy Maddox, Charlie Batch.
So okay, that's whatever. That record's whatever. But most passing yards in consecutive postseason games, 970. That's a ton of yards over 2 games.
Yeah.
Most touchdown passes in a 2-game span. What do you think? What do you think the record is for most touchdown passes in a 2-game span? Ben Roethlisberger holds that.
Didn't he have like back-to-back 7 touchdown games or something like that? 13 or 14?
Yeah, it's 12. So 12. And then this is the next record is only player with consecutive games of 6+ touchdown passes. So in back-to-back games, he threw 6 touchdown passes. That's crazy. And then only
417 touchdowns.
Yeah, only player with consecutive postseason games of 4+ touchdowns. So in back-to-back playoff games, threw 4 tutties. Yeah, I mean,
he's a surefire without a doubt. Don't ask me a question, Hall of Famer. Like he's a Hall of Famer.
First ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt about it.
If he was your quarterback, you'd love him.
I think this is the classic situation of, for me, do not like the guy, gotta respect what he accomplished. That's the easiest. That's the easiest way to put it. I was never really a Big Ben fan to begin with. And then the whole bathroom situation, allegations, whatever you want to call them. I don't even know if they're allegations because he served a suspension. A lot of things. There's still a lot of question marks around that situation. But that was obviously the nail in the coffin for me. I don't fuck with Ben Roethlisberger. I'm not a Ben Roethlisberger guy at all. But if you're talking about this is the classic remove the art from the person. Classic, put him on the field. He had a very, very good career.
Great career winner. I mean, I forgot he started off his career at 13 straight wins. Remember, he came in as a rookie. They won 13 straight. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they won the Super Bowl in what, his second
Super
year?
Bowl, second year. You look at his career, he's only had 2 losing seasons in his entire career as a quarterback. So, I mean, if you judge your quarterbacks off, that's insane. And again, that's another Steelers stat. Like, I think you start looking at, as far as a franchise, some of these Steelers winning stats are going to be kind of crazy, just how little they've been bad. But, yeah, man, I mean, I have no beef with Roethlisberger's career, right? I never thought he was the best quarterback in the league, but I always thought he was up there. And he had some seasons where he was elite. He had some seasons where he was truly elite, right? Like you look at some of these years that he just, throughout the course of his career. Absolutely, man. I don't think you can complain with the on-field product at all. And he's got 2 rings. The conversation stops at, I've got 2 rings. I don't care when I won them. I've got 2 rings. So, bye.
Yeah, facts. No, yeah.
It's over with.
He has 2 rings. And
he wasn't a bystander either. He was very much involved in those rings.
Yes, very much so. And yeah, the overall body of work compared to like Eli's is just way better. So
yeah, I got 2 of them things though too.
2 rings on top of what he put together over that stretch. Yeah, man. He had a really, really good career. Separate the guy on the field, off the field. Really, really good career. First ballot Hall of Famer. All right, we'll leave that there. Let's get you out of here, Nick. Last 10 plus minutes. Let's talk about the NBA.
The streaking Chicago Bulls. 8 winners, 8 straight.
8 straight.
No Billy Donovan, no problem.
Shout
out my man's going 5-0. What was the guy's name? Whoever this assistant coach is going 5-0. Chris something or another, or I forget.
Yeah, they were giving him shots.
Dopey looking dude, yeah.
Wash showers in the locker room and all types of shit.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. But yeah, Bulls have been doing their thing. But before we get to the Bulls, I wanted to talk about some point guards because Ja Morant continues to go crazy. They're 26-14. And they probably still aren't getting enough love because honestly, bro, I don't know if that Ja's supporting cast is not it's not all that great.
It's a bunch of grinders.
Yeah, it's not all that great,
really
right?
A team full of grinders. Desmond, Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bain.
Yeah. Desmond, yeah. So like Desmond, they're getting a ton of production out of Desmond Bain. So
you're 1,000% correct. They're not getting the credit. They have the 4th best record in the West. They're one of only everybody else after them. Everybody's 500 or under 500, right? There's only 4 teams in the West that actually have like true winning records. I guess you could say Denver's 18-17, but no, he has that squad at 24-14, 10 games over with tons of big wins, and him putting in monster performances. I said the other day, Ja Morant has superstar tendencies. Like when you talk about like a superstar, when you talk about a guy that changes your franchise, I mean, it's funny we just talked about Joe Burrow, but you talk about a guy that changes your franchise, like Ja's doing this and wins. This team is winning. This team is competitive. We talked about it at the beginning of the year. I said, who's the team you don't want to see on a random Tuesday night? It's the Memphis Grizzlies. And they're showing you why. They're giving it to you every single night. And Ja Morant is a bona fide, legitimate superstar. He's doing it in victories.
Yeah, it's 14 of 22 last night for 36, 2 of 4 from 3, 8 dimes, 6 rebounds. And
averaging 25, 6, and 7 on the year.
Yeah, and that's on the road in New York.
Yeah.
So
he's a star.
Yeah, I feel like you want to call him a superstar, but don't want to say it. What's your reservation on that?
I mean, yeah, superstar is like let's see what happens in the playoffs. Let's get some deep runs there. But like he's absolutely on the cusp of superstardom. Like if you're asking my top guys under whatever age, Ja Morant is right there, right? Like I think you still would take Luka over him because Luka has potential that is next level shit. But it's funny, we talk about Luka not showing up in shape and all this. That's not the case with Ja Morant. Like, this dude showed up to an NBA season ready. Like, ready. They got a little bit of success last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, he talked about it. Like, he's like, we're not. I'm building on that.
I'm building on that. Like, we're not going to let that just sit down there. So I think you look at that. Yeah, the squad isn't dripping with, headline talent, but they got some good players, right? Triple J is a good player. Dylan Brooks is a gamer, right? We talked about the playoffs last year. I'll tell you one
Yeah.
thing: Dylan Brooks isn't scared,
He's
right? Like
out
he's
too,
type of,
right? Like they're doing that when
yeah,
he's
he's been
out.
hurt and doing it with some of these guys hurt. Melton,
Yeah.
got Melton, you got Bain, you got just a bunch of grinder guys in there, and then all just being led by John Morant playing fantastic basketball.
You just
He's
need to see
going for
some
he's out
shit.
here going for 40. Yeah, I just need to see it doing the playoffs, but I mean, for all
He
intents
went
and
crazy.
purposes,
He went
he's a
crazy in the
superstar.
playoffs last year, though.
Yeah. I mean, for all intents and purposes, yeah, he's a superstar. Yes. Fuck it. He's a superstar.
No, I get it. I get the
what I mean?
reservation. It is
Yeah.
because superstar kind of because
gets
that
thrown
puts
around.
you in that Kevin Durant talk. That's that
Right.
LeBron talk, right? Like superstar is tough, but yeah, I mean, he will be a surefire top 3 player in the league next
That's where he's
3
headed.
seasons. Like that's
Talk
where
about
he's going.
Yeah, and they're winning games. That's the other thing, man. Like it sucks that he plays in a small market, but man,
It fits him though.
He's good. Like he's really good. Like
yeah.
it's funny. Like you look at the Zion situation. I know we've already covered this before, but there's if New Orleans could call Memphis right now, offer Zion and 5 first-round picks, and Memphis would hang up on them. And maybe call them back and hang up again just so they know. Like not a chance, right? Which is crazy if I would have said that to you 3 years ago. But that's how good. I mean, that's how disappointing Zion's situation, not his play, but his situation has been. But that also speaks to how good John Morant has been. Like this guy came in the league ready.
Yeah, 24-14. Memphis Grizzlies led by John Morant. It is fun, and it's fun. It's fun hoops to watch too.
Yeah,
this is not some boring ass. These aren't boring buckets, that's for sure.
Shout out their coach, Taylor Jenkins. Thought he was a brother. Wasn't a brother, but he's got a brother's name. Shout out Taylor Jenkins.
Y'all fired me up last year because I didn't know what Buddy looked like, but I know what Taylor looks like now. If I saw him on the street,
you saw Taylor dap him up.
If I saw TJ on the street, I could dap him now. That's true. It's all good.
But nah, yeah, spot on, man. John Morant is one of them for sure, no doubt about it.
Trae Young drops 56 last night.
Mm-hmm.
Ant Simons drops 42.
We got to see Trigger Trae live last week.
After his grandfather dies of cancer, so Ant Simmons or Simons went off for his grandfather, no doubt. I want to talk about the Hawks and that game. Like, listen, that is my least favorite basketball to watch.
Yeah, they're awful to watch.
Trailblazers 136, Hawks 131. We saw the Hawks in person last week against the Bulls. We were at the United Center. Shout out our people in the Bulls organization that hooked us up with the suite. And we kicked in and watched the game. It's my least favorite basketball to watch.
Yeah.
It is pickup basketball. There's nothing more to it. And I get that, Trae went for 56. But I didn't watch any of that game last night. But I know
exactly what it looked like.
I know exactly what it looked like. I didn't watch a tick of that game. I know exactly what it looked like. Trae had 20. He was 17 to 26, 7 to 12 from 3, 14 dimes. That's a big line. 56, 14, and 4. But
that team is going nowhere.
What's up with that?
They were a great story last year. I get it, but after watching them in person, it's almost like they
had a lot of injuries, and I get
they
that.
have a disdain for playing defense. Like they just were. But it doesn't matter who's injured. Like basic NBA concepts of defense were not being followed by that team. Like just the amount of easy layups that they allow, the amount of second chance buckets that they allow, the pace that they prefer to try to play at. It's just, they want to play 136 to 131, but against good teams, the good teams are going to have the 136 and they're going to have the 131. And this thing, I think that 2 teams from last year, we should have seen it coming. Atlanta and New York, both just massive disappointments from what happened with them last year. But Atlanta specifically because they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and this team looks now like they're going to be at the edge of the play-in tournament because they just can't defend anybody. I get they have a bunch of injuries out. Collins is out, but he doesn't help them defensively. Trust me. Watch John Collins basketball. He's not a stopper of any sorts. So nothing that they have coming back is going to fix their biggest problem. And I think last year when McMillan came in, you know how it goes, new fresh voice. They all apparently hated Lloyd Pierce. So anybody else that wasn't Lloyd Pierce, they were going to listen to. Obviously, McMillan's a smart head coach. You buy into some of the concepts and principles, and you're going to play a little bit better. But what happened is they got a little bit of success. they're clearly not listening to that anymore. Add that in with the kind of shuffling rotation, and that's what you get. Like that team is they're up for them and Dallas are two teams I don't need to watch. And it's crazy because they have transcendent players that you want to see, but I don't want to watch Luka Doncic or Trae Young play basketball. It's not, their teams aren't fun to watch to me. It's just them. Stand around and watch those guys and then don't play defense.
Yeah, I mean, I just said it. Like, I don't know why we didn't have a text. We should have had a whole text message thread going through about why we're on the over for Atlanta, Portland. Dame or no Dame.
Yeah, doesn't matter who's playing. There's no those two teams that are adverse to defense.
Yeah, it is crazy. And and you know what? We'll just transition that right over to the Bulls because I would not mind seeing Larry Nance Jr. in a Bulls uniform.
Is he available?
I mean, who?
Gamer, man.
But listen, he's available in my eyes because Portland is going nowhere.
Nowhere.
That shit is done, and I think Dame wanted to give Chauncey Billups a little chance, but he's got to get out of there, and they need to start that whole shit over.
Well, they've just been doubling down on. I've been telling you about Portland for years.
Literally, we've been saying this for 4 years.
For 4 years
5
about
years.
Portland. They just take what they're good at, double down on it, and don't fix anything that's wrong with their ball club. Hey, we can't defend. All right, cool. Let's get Enes Kanter and Nurkic. Like, what are we doing? And that's our front court. Like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
We do not need any more buckets, but let's go get Norman Powell.
Let's go get Norman Powell, who you love.
I love Norman, but he's a bucket getter.
Of buckets. That's all he does. Yeah,
they didn't need any more buckets. That's not what they were lacking was buckets.
You needed some guys who can play defense and some versatility. Yeah, like so they've been doing that forever. That you're right. That situation's over. Dame has just been keeping them afloat the last few years, but I think he's just kind of done with it this year. So yeah, those are just teams going nowhere. At some point, you got to be like, we're a team going nowhere.
Yeah, Dame should have asked for a trade 3 years ago. I think Dame and his loyalty thing has clipped him off a couple really good years he could have had, and maybe some titles somewhere else. But he'll get out of there. I think he's out of there after this year. He has to be because I think he was trying to get out of there last year. Remember we talked about this?
Yeah, he was dropping the hints all over the place.
I'm like, listen, let's not forget what Dame said. I know we're going into the year and he's there, but he blatantly said he didn't want to be there, and he decided he was going to stay, so it went under the radar, but he still feels that way. He's out.
Yeah, he still feels that way, 100%.
All right, before I'm going to get you out of here on this, what Javonte is out 2 to 4 with the groin. He's a really important player for us.
Very important player.
He's an extremely important player.
6'6" utility knife.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep a close eye on that, and we'll see, how they look without him when they're not playing in Orlando.
With the way this team is rolling, though, it's almost like, man, they're just plug and play. Like that's been the most impressive thing.
It seems that way.
So many guys you can run out of, but yeah.
Well, listen to the last 3 games. It seems that way, but Derozan hits at the buzzer.
Yeah, twice.
Or maybe the last 4 games. Derozan hits at the buzzer. We go to the Atlanta game. They don't have any players. Atlanta's playing me and
literally
you.
Like, who is this guy?
Yeah, who are these people? Atlanta's playing nobody.
10 days in the stadium.
So we blow that out. Then we have DeMar at the buzzer. Then we go to Indiana. We have DeMar at the buzzer again. Then I
think we had Indiana first and then Washington buzzer.
Yeah, Indiana, then Washington. So back-to-back buzzer beaters that we need to get those W's. And then we come out completely lackluster last night and looked terrible against Orlando because maybe Wendell Carter was getting some buckets.
My guy texted me, he's like, man, did y'all give up on Wendell too early? I'm like, no, this is classic Wendell. I was like, you could watch Wendell for 1 game and think he's the greatest player ever, but you watch him for 20 and you hate him.
Yes. No. So this is one of those things. Was that Terry?
Yeah.
I already know that was Terry. Like, oh boy, y'all sure y'all should have
this dude's hooping. I'm like, no.
No.
You can have
him. So, but what I'm getting at is we've won 8 in a row and they've looked good and it's been a lot of fun. But I think some of these we haven't been 100% in months. I can't remember the last time we were 100%, right?
We haven't been 100% since the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, Zoe's been out now. He's in the protocol.
Yeah, and I guess that's a lot of teams, right? But
yeah,
but like Caruso's not in the protocol.
He's hurt.
That's an injury.
Can't wait
Javante
till he
now is
comes
on the
back.
groin.
Yeah.
DeMar is going ballistic and will continue to go ballistic because I think he's just
so good.
super locked right now, and that relationship he has with Levine is very, very good. But I'm worried that some of these injuries are going to start to catch up with us. I think we need some more bodies. We need some more bench scoring. We talked about that. But I'm looking forward to seeing because you know how when we're watching the Bears, it seems like they're not watching the same game we're watching. They're just not aligned with what I know. AKME sees what we're looking at. They're like, yo, man, we need some help in a couple spots, and I think, and hopefully they go get it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave you here on this. Go ahead,
real quick. Give your boy Kobe his flowers though.
Yeah, he's been playing well.
Been hooping.
Well, listen, that's all.
We knew he could hoop though, but
we knew he could score. It just hasn't been very consistent, and that's what he's been doing the last, 10 days, right? Yeah. He's been scoring the basketball, and he's been picking us up, and we've been in a lull a little bit on the offensive end. We needed buckets. He's been going to get them. So
and we got Mac McClung, man. Shout out those dudes in the suite. I've never seen anybody happy that Mac McClung came in the game.
Yeah, that we were in the suite last week, and Matt McClung came in, and people lost it. These white people went ballistic. It's like, Mac McClung, bro, go get a bucket. So yeah, he's on his second 10 days. So shout out Mac. I'm gonna leave you here on this. DeMar MVP talk. What is even your MVP criteria? And then that'll answer if DeMar should be in the conversation or not.
I mean, if you remove that person's value to the team, right? Like that person's value to the team based on the team's performance. And if you look at it under that criteria, DeMar DeRozan is 100% an MVP candidate. Like he is an MVP candidate. He's a top 4 MVP candidate, right? Like I think right there with KD, right there with Giannis, right there with
LeBron.
Who? LeBron. LeBron should be fucking unanimous MVP every year because that team might have 3 wins without LeBron.
Yo,
real shit. Carried by a 37-year-old superstar. It's kind of a shame.
Yeah.
So yeah, LeBron, those guys, but DeMar is right there. You look at the impact on the team. You look at the game winners. You look at what he does for us in the fourth quarter. You look at the pressure that he takes off of Zach. You look at how, I mean, let's be honest, DeMar changed the culture of the Bulls. It's crazy we're saying this. DeMar DeRozan changed the culture on the Bulls. That was the number 1 signing that made a huge difference for us.
It's just obviously, a great fit, man.
Vucevic trade, those are great, but the fit has been crazy. I was talking to somebody from Boston last night. He was telling me about how Brown and Tatum don't work together, and they have to get rid of one of those guys. And I'm sitting here like that's what they said was going to be the case with DeMar and Zach, and it's been the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean that's it. He is an MVP candidate, and if he keeps it up, and don't let all these other guys get injured. Knock on wood. I don't want to see anything happen to KD or Giannis. But DeMar is right there. Like he's headed towards the top 5 MVP finish.
If you did one of those graphics where you take the face away and you put the team record up and didn't put the name on the team, put the team record up, the stats, and then you had to pick who should be in the MVP race, you pick his graphic without knowing who it was,
without a doubt, yeah.
or any of that, right? So yeah, I agree with you 100%. And we should have a real conversation about Jason Tatum, by the way.
We will. Yeah, we can.
Like a real one.
Yeah. Talking about Kobe?
What?
Kobe? That's in his eyes, he's Kobe.
Oh. I mean,
he looks in the mirror and he sees Bean. That's me.
So yeah,
the same thought.
Yeah. So we can. I want to hear it because I want to get a couple people. I want to have somebody on to talk about
panel
that
on this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting
Boston
situation
in general.
Because
you shouldn't be that bad with 2 guys of that. Those 2 guys should have you 8 games above 500 just by showing up to the arena every night.
But that's the thing, man. If you watch them, you get why they're so bad. You get if you watch their offense too, it's
hot potato. And,
what is this? This is not. This is. There's no team hoops in this shit at all.
That brother's not going to make it too long in that position. I'll tell you that right now. My man start looking for new work.
Yeah,
it's not going to make it. But yeah.
All right, we'll leave it there, Nick. I know you got to get out of here.
Yep.
For Big Nick the Quick, I'm your host, Sean Little, man. Make sure you know the deal. Make sure you subscribe everywhere. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever. We're everywhere. YouTube, you know the deal. No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. We'll see y'all next week.
Now look at Mossy. Really?